Additional developments are being reported this morning following Friday's Supreme Court decision that invalidated most of President Donald Trump's tariff measures. In response, the European Union has paused steps toward ratifying a trade agreement with the United States after President Trump indicated he may impose a new 15% tariff on imports from all countries. At the same time, several Democratic governors have called for refunds of the billions of dollars collected by the federal government while the tariffs were in effect. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has been mentioned as a potential candidate in the 2028 presidential election, sent the White House an invoice totaling nearly $9 billion. Asked on Friday whether refunds would be issued, President Trump said doing so could result in extended legal challenges, adding that the matter could remain in court for several years. Following the Supreme Court ruling, the president has announced plans to impose a 15% tariff on all global imports. How would that policy be implemented, and under what authority could it proceed? Financial markets have reacted negatively. After the court struck down the earlier tariffs, some investors believed the issue had been resolved. That assessment changed after the president indicated he would pursue alternative mechanisms to reinstate tariffs at similar levels. The president stated that countries taking retaliatory action could face higher tariffs. In a social media post, he said nations attempting to challenge the Supreme Court decision would be subject to increased duties. That possibility has contributed to ongoing market uncertainty. While the Supreme Court ruled that the president lacked emergency authority under the statute previously used to impose the tariffs, he has said he can proceed without congressional approval under other authorities. He has stated that he does not require Congress to implement many tariff actions. As a result, earlier tariffs, including a 34% duty on Chinese goods and 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico, are no longer in effect. They have been replaced by a 15% tariff plan that is scheduled to last for 150 days. This measure serves as an interim approach following the court's ruling. Meanwhile, the European Union announced it is suspending trade negotiations with the United States. What are the potential effects of that decision? The trade framework under discussion with Europe was negotiated prior to the Supreme Court ruling. Under that proposal, certain goods, including pharmaceuticals, would have faced a tariff cap of 15% or lower, depending on classification. In return, the United States was prepared to reduce tariffs on vehicles manufactured in the European Union. Following the court's decision and the introduction of the new 150-day tariff, European officials have indicated the earlier framework is no longer applicable. Talks have been paused while officials reassess the situation. Similar uncertainty applies to trade negotiations with other countries. Analysts continue to evaluate the overall impact. One analyst at J.P. Morgan said over the weekend that when current policies are combined, the effective tariff rate may be comparable to levels in place before the Supreme Court ruling. Thank you for watching. To receive updates, please subscribe.